So welcome everyone to today's tapping meditation, and collectively we settled on tapping through some anger here today. And as we were just discussing, anger is a productive, anger can be a productive emotion, and that does not mean that we'll lash out. That does not mean that we will act in violence and aggression. In fact, violence and aggression are a product of unprocessed anger, unfiltered anger, of not having looked at or processed trauma, pain, deeper violations where one's own expectations may have been violated or disappointed. And these unprocessed emotions later, if they're not processed, if they're not looked at, get externalized. And again, this externalization results in what we experience as anger, as violence and frustration, what gets externalized and projected onto others. Anger, if processed correctly, is that force within us that can distinct between right and wrong. That is not as in self-righteousness, but is an internal righteous feature, an internal feature of justice that can very much distinct between right or wrong, and between I deserve and I don't deserve. So we'll tune into anger today. We'll also tune into some of the emotions which are underneath the anger, that the anger is often protecting. I also want to acknowledge that for some of us, me included, anger has historically been an emotion that's difficult to access, because it has been, again, I have been, so to say, the victim of unprocessed anger in my life, of violence, of aggression in many ways. So for me to tune into anger, when I first learned how to tune into and be with my anger, that was hard. That was difficult. And because again, anger for me had that connotation of just not being safe. So I want to just acknowledge that, because that may also be the case for many of us here. But that's why I really want to make that distinction between anger, processed anger, and unprocessed anger, which is again aggression and violence and hurtful rage. So and there is also something that's called a dharmic rage as well, which I think we were just talking about when it comes to activism and wanting to make a change. So as always, whether we think of this kind of like on a grander political or social level or not, there's always a personal root. There's always a root within ourselves that correlates with what is going on in the world, that informs how we relate to the world, that informs how we respond to the world and how we respond to social and political, societal matters. So that's what we'll tune in today. So that being said, I'd like you to pick a situation, a recent situation, fairly recent situation that has enraged you, that has made you angry. And it again, it's absolutely your your own choice of where you want to go. I will say, though, that if it is something that concerns your private life, that concerns your personal sphere, it may be more potent for you to look at that. If it is something that concerns the greater good, so to say, that's fine as well. And we'll get somewhere too. But yeah, it's up to you. Pick and choose a recent situation that has angered you. And of course, when I say this has angered you, it doesn't matter whether you acted on the anger or whether it was just an internal feeling. Either is fine. And let's take a few breaths and tune in and feel into where that anger sits in your body. Where did that anger play out in your body? Or where is it playing out in your body? And if it's difficult for you to connect with a situation that has made you angry, maybe it's just an annoyance. Maybe it is something that rather feels like disappointment. Again, all of these names, these labels, they are just labels. The important thing is that you feel it in your body, that we can acknowledge where it sits, where it gets replayed over and over again. What's the color? What's the texture? What's the sensation in your body? And just let it be for a moment. Just sit with it. I know it's uncomfortable. I know we're not used to holding space for our anger, usually, most of us. But can we, without judging it, just hold space for that sensation in our body without pushing it away, without forcing it out, without forcing it to move? Just acknowledge that it's there. Acknowledge what it feels like, where it sits, and how it gets repeated in your body. And maybe some of us can already feel into the emotion, the feeling that this anger is actually protecting. Maybe there's some sadness, some grief, pain, helplessness. And let's start tapping on the side of our hands. And let's tap into and acknowledge the anger, the disappointment, the rage, The annoyance, frustration, whatever, however you name it. Irritation, maybe. And even though I'm feeling this anger, and name it whatever it is for you, whatever you call it for yourself. I deeply and completely accept myself, even though I may feel rage, anger, frustration, disappointment, irritation. And I don't like to feel those feelings. Maybe it doesn't even feel safe for me to go there. But right now, I'm open to holding space for that anger in my body without judging it, without making it go away, without pushing it away. With curiosity and courage, I'm open to just holding space for the anger in my body. Even though this may be really difficult for me, I choose to accept myself and how I feel right now. Let's tap through the points, top of your head, this anger, the disappointment, the irritation, eyebrow points, the irritation, this irritation, side of the eyes, angry, frustrated, irritated. And I don't know where to go with it. Under your eyes, I don't know what to do with it. It feels like it has no receiver. Under your nose, who would truly receive my anger? And things wouldn't change anyway. Under your mouth. So even though I'm angry, I don't know what the purpose is of this anger because no one is there to receive it and nothing would change anyway. And collarbone points. So really what's underneath that anger? Maybe some sadness. There may be some helplessness. There may even be some grief. That I cannot change what is. but I cannot accept what is either. So I feel kind of stuck there. And I acknowledge the helplessness. I acknowledge the sadness. I acknowledge the grief and how the irritation, how the anger has really protected me from feeling those feelings. The deep disappointment. My expectations were violated. This isn't how things should go. This isn't what I thought this would be. Under your arms. So right now I can acknowledge both the anger and the deeper pain underneath, even if I cannot quite access it right now. I can acknowledge that it may be there. The deeper pain, the deeper helplessness. Side of your hands. And as we tap on the side of our hands, and let's tune into that helplessness, into that deeper emotion in your body. If you can't quite access it, just guess where it would be. Where would it sit? If it would play out, if it were to express, where would it be? The deeper sadness, the grief, the helplessness. The disappointment in how unfair things are, and the powerlessness. So where is that in your body? And now I'd like you to intuitively tune in and feel into how old are you really feeling these emotions? Even if they didn't play out, if they didn't surface. How old are you feeling helpless? Feeling like your expectations were violated? Feeling the powerlessness over the inability to change anything. Feeling the disappointment and the grief, the helplessness. How old is this little one? Feeling stuck. And tune into if there's anger here too. If that little one or that younger one may actually already also experience some anger about how things are going, about how they are treated, about how unfair this is, how unfair the world is, how their expectations were being violated. And I'd like us to move now to tapping on the center of our chest, on our thymus gland, center chest area. And close your eyes. And I'd like you to give that little one the space to freely express that anger, uncensored, in whatever shape or form they need to. This can mean they turn into a monster, an archetype. They can gather a sacred, holy army behind them. Here in this scenario, in this visualization, there is no stopping, there's no censorship. We just give expression to what otherwise turns against ourselves or others. So this is the safe space to fully and completely express. This is unfair. This is unjust. And I have enough. This is enough. I do not accept this. And you as the adult, the conscious adult you are today, you give them full permission. You have their back. You support them. You back them up in this expression of their anger. They can yell, they can scream, they can spit fire. This can be as violent as they need it to be. I'll give you a few minutes here. Let it unfold. It doesn't need to be loud to be expressed. It can be inside you. If you are in a place where you want to yell or move or scream or shake, feel free to do so. Not all of us feel comfortable doing that. Not all of us are in the place. It is also really powerful, really potent if you just give this anger permission to express in that inner vision. I have enough. I'm no longer carrying this within myself. I don't accept it that this anger turns against myself anymore. So I give it full expression. I did not deserve this. Consciously take your breath there if this helps. It is enough. How dare you? How dare you? Full expression. I no longer will carry this energy within me. I'll bring it up and out. Let it erupt. Let it explode. Let it surge. Let it inflame. And let that flame, if it is starting to go down, if that surge, if you feel that surge is slowly going down, let that flame sit. Let it not go out, but sit as a little flame in your sacral chakra area, in your second chakra area. Feeling that power within yourself that says, I am worthy of. That inner child, that child, pure righteousness that really understands right from wrong, that understands this was not okay. I did not deserve that. And back that inner child up. You didn't deserve that. And I am so sorry. I am so sorry. Let's tap underneath your arms and take a deep breath. For those of you who are watching the replay, if you need some more time with your anger, you can stop and start the video here again. Inside of your hand. And I'd like you, as the adult now, to tune in again with that child. And just acknowledge whatever they have experienced, how much this has cost them, how much this has cost them in terms of the inner limiting beliefs, the lack of self-worth, feeling like maybe I deserve that. Maybe I deserve to have my expectations violated. Maybe I deserve to be treated that way. Acknowledge what this has cost them, what this has cost you, and choose to have compassion with it. And know that what you just did, the processing you just did of that anger, just enables you now to release these limiting beliefs. And embrace your self-worth. And let that child know again, or that younger part know again, you did not deserve that, and I am so sorry. This was not okay. And I'm so glad you expressed it now. I am so glad you expressed that anger and affirm to them that you will always hold space for that anger as often as it needs to express. You can always go back to that exercise. You can always go back to how it feels to seriously and really hold space for a difficult emotion like anger. Let that inner part of you know, I'm so proud of you. Thank you for speaking up. Thank you for saying that. I hear you. I receive it. I receive it. I acknowledge it. and it doesn't go unnoticed. And you are worthy of. And say out loud, what are you worthy of? As opposed to what you experienced. I am worthy of. I'm worthy of safety. I'm worthy of respect. I'm worthy of unconditional love. I'm worthy of the big visions and the big dreams becoming reality. I'm worthy of freedom. I'm worthy of abundance. What else? Say it out loud. Tell me, what are you worthy of? What is this little one worthy of? And say yes to that. Say yes to it. And feel how that inner spark that was that rage that turned against yourself is informing that self-worth now, is putting energy behind that self-worth, is saying, yes, I'm worthy of that and I become that. I am love. I am liberation. I am freedom. I am wealth. I am abundance. I am spirit. I am a force of nature. I am acting from love. Even my anger, even my boundaries are an act of love. I am clarity. I am beauty. And let's tap through the points here. What else are you? I am. Or repeat some of the phrases we just said already. I am love. I am freedom. I am satisfaction. I am peace. Eyebrow points. I am wealth on all levels. I am abundance on all levels. Side of the eyes. I am my soul tribe. I am nourishment. I am nurtured. Under your eyes. I am clarity. I am beauty. I am beautiful. Under your nose. And feel that inner flame being an affirmation of that. Under your mouth. Of those sacred I am statements. I am. Collarbone points. I am. I am. And let's put both your hands on your heart. I am a miracle. And affirm that to all of these parts within yourselves, you are a miracle. I am space. And let's affirm that I am 100% that version of me. Universe, divine, please show me in the inside and the outside that I am 100% that, all that, and expand in that. Grow that bubble, that golden bubble from your heart center with the force of that flame. Grow that bubble inside your body and beyond your body. Your auric field, beyond your auric field. Beyond your space. Town, city, state, country, continent, globe. Let it become big. And embrace the sacredness of this I am peace, because this is what the world needs, is souls and spirits that are fully embodied in the knowledge that they are sacred, that they are deserving, that they are love, in unity. In unity, in oneness, in wholeness. That you are sacred service by embracing your sacredness, by embracing who you truly are. In joy, in sacred devotion, in joyful devotion, in bhakti, as it is called. And so it is, and it is so. And I say thank you to all of you for showing up as your true selves. Thank you for being. Thank you for being here. Thank you for tapping along. I love you all.